Okay, Catherine, my producer, just asked me to predict the result, so I don't want to look at the screen. And I say I think people who vote will vehemently disagree with the poll question today. Let's see. Go ahead, show me the result. Whoa! Okay, well, you know there's no cheating. You know there's no cheating. 76, all right, well, that means you found me compelling. 76% agree with the premise. See, it's in the best poll. All right, I'm impressed. 3/4 say, yeah, you know what? It's in the Democrats' best interest if every once in a while they give Trump credit on something that he's done with which they agree.
Boy. So as President Trump continues to rack up W after W after W after W, you have some people in the mainstream liberal media, even on outlets like CNN, admitting the truth about President Trump, which is that everything that he does is not bad, okay? It's not destroying this country. It's not destroying the economy. Ultimately, in the day, President Trump is an influential individual. Whether or not you agree or disagree with the guy, you have to admit that he has been very influential, especially when you're talking about carrying out some of the promises that he made on the campaign trail that, again, he has done so far in his presidency. Take a look.
A lot of folks have claimed Trump always chickens out, taco, when it comes to tariffs. Is that true?
No, I don't think that's true, Omar, and I think the theme of this segment is going to be love it, like it, lump it, Trump's remaking the United States of America. We can start there with tariffs. What are we talking about? No tacos for Trump. The effective tariff rate, get this, 18%. It is the highest, Omar, the highest since the 1930s, up from, get this, just 2% last year. As I'm going to talk about in this segment, I can't think of a more influential president during this century, and it starts here with tariffs. He said he was going to raise tariffs, and despite the claims otherwise, he is in fact doing that. The effective tariff rate at this point looks to be 9 times as high as it was last year, the highest since the 1930s in FDR, Omar.
And the effective tariff rate is up from 2% last year, for those that might see the banner there. Tariffs, though, aren't the only way Trump's remaking policy in America, right?
It is not the only way that Trump is remaking America. What are we talking about? Well, let's jump. The other big thing that Trump ran on, right, was immigration. How about net migration in the United States? Get this, it's down. It's going to be down at least 60%. We may be dealing with, get this, negative net migration to the United States in 2025. That would be the first time there is negative net migration in this country in at least 50 years. We're talking about down from 2.8 million in 2024. So Donald Trump has always run on tariffs, and he's run on a hawkish line on immigration. And on both of those issues, we are seeing record high tariff rates for this century going all the way back, well back into the early part of the 20th century. And when it comes to immigration, net migration, we are seeing record low levels, way down from where we were during the Biden administration. We are potentially looking at negative net migration for the first time in at least 50 years. And that is a big reason why that I'm saying that Trump, at least in my mind, is the most influential president, certainly this century, and probably dating a good back chunk into the 20th century as well, Omar.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that, right? It's hard to disagree with the influence that President Trump currently has on this country. The guy is basically single-handedly renegotiating global trade, right, in favor of the United States of America. Now, everybody might not like it, but, you know, there's some people that get it and some people that don't, particularly the smart money. They understand. I think that's part of the reason why you've seen the stock market basically skyrocket despite all of the fear-mongering about the tariffs just a few months ago. It is at all-time highs because ultimately, at the end of the day, what people understand is that what President Trump is doing is good for America, right? The policies, the proposals that he's putting in place in the long term are going to be good for manufacturing and building here in America.
Obviously, the 3% number is way ahead of expectations. It's a fantastic number. It just feels like, you know, everything's humming on all cylinders here. One thing you didn't mention, but I think is relevant, is the new trade deal with the EU.
We're about to get to that, by the way. That's the next story.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would include that because,
okay, go ahead. Include it. Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a deal that just got announced where the EU is going to open its markets to U.S. products, no tariff on U.S. products, but they will pay a 15% tariff coming into the U.S. They're going to be investing $600 billion in the U.S. They're going to be buying $750 billion of U.S. energy, and then some very large number. I guess they didn't specify a number on defense products, basically American military products, hundreds of billions, which is the follow-up to their commitment to raise their contribution to NATO to 5% of GDP, up from, I guess it was sort of like 2% before. So, I mean, this is a huge deal for the United States. I think it's a huge win for the Trump administration. And the deal is so good that what I'm seeing from European sources on X, European publications, just commenters, is that they were like outraged. They felt like they got taken to the cleaners here.
Good.
And
okay.
you see a lot of that on X by European side. A lot of the European leaders are saying that Ursula chickened out. So, all those stupid taco memes are going away now because people are realizing that Trump's willingness to raise tariffs on these countries as a threat to renegotiate better trade deals is working. It's working extraordinarily well. Just this EU deal, one way to think about it is you add it all up, it's about $2 trillion. It's effectively $2 trillion of stimulus into the U.S., but without money printing.
Yeah, over the next 3 years.
So it's non-inflationary.
Yeah. So again, there are some people who get it. There's some people who don't, right? Like, for example, Charlamagne the Devil, who doesn't get it. This guy is such a clown that he went on Fox News and basically claimed that he would vote for Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert, right? That is who he hopes runs because the system in his eyes is broken. So therefore we should have liberal comedians become president of the United States. That is how much of a clown show Charlamagne the Devil has become when it comes to his political analysis. Take a look.
So look, we're 6 months into President Trump's second term in office. Now, I know you've been critical. You've had your bones to pick with President Trump. If you took his name out of it and looked solely at what has happened, the policies and the things that have changed around the world and in our country over the first 6 months, how do you rate his presidency so far?
I wouldn't give it a good rating,
Why not?
Simply because, the least of us are still being impacted the worst. Like when you look at something like, the big, beautiful bill, that's something that, I'm going to benefit from because of the tax bracket that I'm in. But, there's going to be so many people that's hurt by that bill. And, anything that, takes away Medicaid from people and is going to put people in a worse financial situation than, they were previously in, I'm not for. And, he ran on that. Like, he ran on, the economy. He ran on saying that, grocery prices were going to be down. And,
That has happened.
No.
Inflation is trending down. And by the way, Medicaid.
No. I think that traditional conservatives are going to take the Republican Party back. I think there's a political coup going on right now in the Republican Party that people aren't paying attention to.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think that this Epstein thing is going to be a way for traditional conservatives to take their party back. I really do. I think that they know this is the issue that has gotten the base riled up. The MAGA base isn't letting this issue go, and for the first time, they know they can, probably take their party back and not piss off the MAGA base. Do
you see yourself in 2028 voting blue or voting red? And is there anyone you might already see yourself supporting?
I really don't know. I mean, I think that there's some good candidates out there. I think that we really have to look to the governors when it comes to the Democrats. I don't think that there's any change agents that's going to come out of nowhere and shake things up in the Democratic Party. I think it's going to end up being a governor, Josh Shapiro or a Wes Moore, somebody like that. And they actually have a track record, right? Because you can go look at their states to see what they're probably going to end up doing on a national level. The only other person I would like to see in 2028 run, and this is going to sound ridiculous probably coming from me, I would love to see Jon Stewart run in 2028. If we're talking about a change agent coming from the outside that's really going to shake things up and somebody that I feel like can speak to, all people. Plus he's a celebrity who actually knows what they're talking about. We've seen him get legislation and stuff, passed before. Like, we know where his heart is. He'd be somebody I'd like to see really get in the race and disrupt things in 2028. Maybe a Jon Stewart Colbert ticket because Colbert's not going to have a job. He's not working because of President Trump, so they say.
Well, people say different things. They also say he lost $40 million a year for CBS, which is also a bit of a problem whenever you're trying to have a successful show. If you had to pick a Republican who might be able to earn your vote, is there anyone you like that you would look at?
I mean, I was in South Carolina. I grew up in South Carolina under, somebody like Nikki Haley, right? So I can see something like that.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, again, Charlamagne the Devil is somebody that I don't understand why is it that people continue to talk to him about politics. He has no effing clue what he's talking about. He literally said that he wants a liberal comedian to run. A liberal comedian. He wants a liberal comedian to run, which is something that you hear on the left quite a bit, right? These socialist individuals talk about how they want Jon Stewart to run, right? That's what would excite them, right? Jon Stewart would excite them. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Democrats have become a full-blown clown show. Charlamagne only repeats things that he's heard on CNN and MSNBC. And clearly that's the case, right? When you hear his takes. So President Trump heard Charlamagne's takes, and this is what he had to say. The wonderful and talented Lord Trump, whose show is a big rating success, put racist sleazebag Charlamagne, quote unquote, the God. Why is he allowed to use the word God when describing himself? Can anyone imagine the uproar there would be if I used that nickname? He's a low IQ individual, has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth, and knows nothing about me or what I have done. Just like ending 5 wars, including a 31-year bloodbath between the Republic of Congo and Rwanda, where 7 million people have died and there was no end in sight. He didn't know that. Or India and Pakistan, or wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities, or closing the horrendous open border, or creating the greatest economy where prices and inflation have come way down, and where stupid and corrupt Joe Biden set the record for doing the worst job as president ever. But this dope Charlamagne would vote for Sleepy Joe or Kamala. Remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world, MAGA. Yeah, I think that President Trump has a point, right? If you're one of these individuals that would vote for Kamala or Joe Biden, you're an idiot, right? You are a complete and total idiot. And Charlamagne is one of those idiots. Okay. Again, I don't understand why they continue to bring him on Fox News to platform him as if he has something interesting to say. He has nothing to say that he hasn't heard on MSNBC. Okay. So with that being said, there's some more surprise news in regards to a quote unquote Trump hater, maybe not actually hating Trump as much as we thought. Okay. Because Elon Musk made a surprise donation to President Trump's PAC in June, right? Now, again, this came after the fallout between President Trump and Elon Musk, but apparently he is still donating to Republicans. And on top of that, there are no signs that he is serious about starting his so-called America Party. Take a look.
Glad you're with us. A pair of hefty donations to the Republican Party suggest that Elon Musk may not be done with politics. The world's richest man and former head of Doge gave $5 million each to main super PACs backing House and Senate Republicans. That's according to newly released campaign finance disclosures. And in a surprising move, Musk also spent $5 million to MAGA Inc., President Trump's super PAC, despite his messy falling out with the president. Joining us now, New York Times reporter Teddy Schleifer. And you cover billionaires, their impact on the world. You're also an MSNBC contributor, Teddy. So explain to us these filings and the significance that Musk apparently spent about $15 million on Republican PACs while he was fighting with the president. Is that an indication he's trying to make peace here?
You know, all these donations came on the same day. They were all the same amount of money. This was clearly an intentional strategy by Musk to, curry favor or bury the hatchet with the traditional Republican powers that be. I mean, yes and no is the answer to your question. That being said, he didn't donate $100 million, which is what we reported Musk was considering donating to Trump groups at the beginning or maybe the middle of the Trump presidency in around March. He basically makes this belated, fairly small donation to the Trump groups. And this is on June 27th. I know we're rolling back the tape here pretty far, but this is a couple of days before Elon announced he was leaving the Republican Party altogether around July 4th. So we're sort of looking at a time capsule of where Elon Musk was in late June, and things have changed.
Yeah. So speaking of, these filings, as you mentioned, predate Musk's threats to create a third party to challenge Republicans who voted for the president's big, beautiful bill, which he did not like. Axios is now reporting that his America Party has so far failed to get off the ground. Is that an indication of the fact that he's letting go of this effort, or where do things stand with the America Party?
Yeah, based on my reporting, this has never really been super serious to begin with. I mean, that being, Elon has told people privately that this was something he was looking at, but there have been no efforts that I've detected or other reporters have detected to make this into a real thing. That being said, like, things can start as jokes in Elon Musk's orbit and become real very quickly. I mean, he didn't intend to own Twitter, and now he owns Twitter in part because he was egged on. It was partially a joke at first. So it's never over till it's over. But the indications that I've gotten, and based on some of the filings we see last night, show that Musk is trying to at least kind of get back in favor of the Republican Party, and we have not seen any signs to date that the America Party, which obviously would be very difficult to pull off, is actually going to happen.
Yeah, so apparently Elon Musk has looked at the numbers, right? And he's probably decided that, you know what, it's better for me to get back in the good graces of the Republican Party and President Trump rather than to try to start a new political party that has absolutely zero real support, right? Like, there has been analysis done on this. And apparently, when you look at a coalition, okay, for a party that is generally anti-spending, not Democrat or Republican, anti-Trump and pro-Musk, that is 0.75% of registered voters. Yeah, that is Elon's coalition, right? Not even 1%. Not even 1% of the electorate would be interested in Elon's party, apparently, right? And again, that's why it's no surprise to me that, you see Elon making moves like this, because I think ultimately today it's not good for his businesses. It's not good for him to continue to fight with the president, to continue to, boo-hoo, whine, and cry over some of the Green New Deal stuff being cut out of the bill, because I think that's what he's really upset about. And it's better to just be, a person who donates in the background, and you work your relationships, and you do what the other donors do, right? You do what the other, billionaires do, okay, in order to buy the politicians, okay? Elon, I think he kind of realized, hopefully he realized that he was too out there, because at this point, I think he needs to focus heavily on his businesses. And I think it's better to be in the good graces of one party than to have both parties hate you, right? If both parties hate you, then that's a big issue, right? That's a huge issue. So hopefully this is a sign that Elon is not going to start a new party. And that, him and President Trump hopefully are kissing and making up. We don't really know. Okay, again, he made this donation back in June. He may feel differently today, but I'm just saying the dude is giving away millions of dollars to President Trump and the Republican Party, and they had this falling out a long time ago, but he's still donating. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.